Only the brave shall teach. Pearl Beck. Hello, teacher. How are you today? My group will present the topic Role of Teachers in Contemporary Context. First, I am going to talk about the importance of being a teacher and good environment. Well, over the years, teachers have been seen as a fundamental pillar, and for this reason, they must be an example for their students. And so I will start by talking about the importance of having a good environment with our coworkers. Now, the cooperative work. Normally in professional life, it is very difficult to communicate with our coworkers. And this is reflected when presenting a job or looking for information about a specific topic. Teachers always seek help from a positional leader. And this means that the relation between teachers at the same level are scarce and in many cases are null. We need to strengthen the relationship between teachers. This will improve the school environment and generate that the students see reflect the leadership and camaraderie of their teacher. And therefore, they will try to imitate this among. For another hand, the relationship we have with our student is also important because many times we are the example that they follow.
You had so much to offer yesterday. You okay?
I'm tired.
So what's going on?
Strong relationships are central to the learning process. What the science of learning and development tells us is that we need to create learning environments which allow for strong long-term relationships for children to become attached to school and to the adults and other children in it.
When children have experiences of closeness and consistency and trust, oxytocin is released. Oxytocin has many, many positive effects on the development of the brain. So when we think about a relationship, we're not just talking about being nice to a child. We're talking about a child having an experience of attunement and trust strong enough to release the hormone oxytocin.
Good morning, Ariella. How you doing today?
The purpose of the morning greeting is to connect with them and to just make sure that I'm seeing them as humans. Like I'm making that relationship with them, making that bond.
I prioritize relationship building because getting to know them is the best part of the job.
When I come in the morning, we usually talk about things that are happening in our community.
We're trying to build caring and respect.
The teacher is trying to understand who I am and my values as a person.
When I have a free 45 minutes or an hour, I think to myself, I could sit down and catch up on grading, or I could go and make connections, whether it's a smile or a joke or a reminder. It validates their presence in the building.
Rock it out in the art room. It starts from so much honesty and transparency with kids. It's really easy to strive to be this idealized, always ready to go elementary school teacher, and that's not real and that's not human. When people start talking about other things while I'm still giving directions, it feels frustrating for me and I have to take a breath. My students connect most with me when they see that I also struggle and I also have challenges. It takes a lot of vulnerability on my part.
Total familiarity.
When that student knows that you care about them, when they know that you're a human,
Let's think about that.
Their academic performance in your class is going to be better.
If I'm comfortable around them, then I'm more confident around them, and it's easier to ask questions and things like that.
So when you're looking at this graph, what is it that you think happened?
Some teachers I don't always get along with the best, so then sometimes I'm like, I can't do it, so I'm just not gonna do it. But when I like the teacher, I want to do their work. I'll be like, I can learn this.
You all have done outstanding work.
Emotion and learning are completely connected. If you're in a positive emotional space, if you feel good about yourself, your teacher, that actually opens up the opportunity for more learning.
Good to see.
Perspectives of teachers on the foundation of their profession in society. As we know, become a teacher every time is more demanding and complex. There are a lot of issues, either in the educational system or in our society. Also, the reputation of this profession is undervalued. In some countries, being teacher is considered at the same prestige with doctors, but in others, no. So the main idea is that all professions are important. Also, when we consider the issues of this profession, according to Montero, there are four main factors in the determination of the level of professionalism. The first one is value of service. Is the importance for individuals and society of the scope of professional expertise. As you can see here, you can see the value, that is the sum between quality and service divided by the cost. Also, we have the identity concept, formed by the knowledge, values, and qualities that distinguish a profession. Professional autonomy, the independence and responsibility with which the profession may be practiced. And finally, professional and social status, which results from the previous factor and is reflected in the income, influence, and prestige of the profession.
In the side of the manifestations of the levels of the teachers' professional agencies, we can mention at the first point that they are a kind of keys to shape and then to find the teacher's identity. Each teacher has their own identity, and in this case, we show three agencies. The passive agency, the reflexive agency, and the constructive agency. The passive agency can be considered as a weakness point of the teacher's identity. Here, the capacities that the teachers have are not valued and practically unseen. Nobody sees this with good eyes. So the teachers with this identity are put aside. Nobody cares what happened with them. Because of that, these teachers doesn't have any motivation to work. It could be said that this agency is the worst. But in the other hand, there is the reflexive agency. It is the opposite of the previous agency. Here, the teachers feel responsible for what they do and they have real engagement. Also, they feel free to express themselves in an active way with energy and enthusiasm because they feel that they are completely inside of the group. The teachers with this identity don't have fear to tell their opinions and they are sure about their positions. And finally, the constructive agency. It talks about the cooperation between teachers and teachers. They have a kind of trust to each other, and their relation goes beyond the teaching. These teachers have an enthusiastic and happy identity. They feel their job more connected with other teachers and students. Because of that, they develop the real role of a teacher, how it really have to be developed.
I will talk about the gain of knowledge about teaching by experience. Even if you have a lot of knowledge of teaching, it doesn't mean that you know how to teach. In many cases, teachers will graduate by 10 over 10 in the university, but they go to the schools and they can't control the class. Why? Simple. Because they didn't have experience teaching. They have a lot of knowledge, but they don't know how to use it in the real life. At the beginning, you as a teacher won't control the class and the students will have a misbehavior because you don't know how to explain few things and control the class. And in moments you think about, did I choose the correct major? Or you think that is a waste of time teaching because you can't stop the misbehavior. But don't worry, my friend. The control of the class is an art that you learn through time. Anything is easy at the beginning, unless it. But with time, you can control children. And with the time, you must put this knowledge acquired in the university in the real life, and you could have an efficient teaching learning process, and the students will enjoy your classes because you can have an entertaining class and above all, a class in which students will have significant learning.
An important topic to talk here is about the practice and discourses of experienced teacher perceptions. What do we consider practice to be an expert person or an expert teacher? The main idea of this research is talk about include teaching discourses as a professional endeavor. First, when we talk about teaching, to reach a good teaching, first, a good teacher is charismatic. Teaching as a competency-based occupation, and we have to know that we have to be a researcher there because research-based and professions. The discourse, how the reality is constructed, and the description becomes true because all things that we tell to our students should be real and true about our experiences. To do this research, we have a semi-structured interviews were designed around topics like teacher experiences, about lived experiences of good and bad teaching, or beliefs about quality teaching and teachers. In this, First, about expressions of teacher, we have romantic discourse, that means excellent teachers have an innate way about teaching, and life experience of teacher is able to transmit the knowledge. In second result, we have transactional discourse, that means the teachers need to demonstrate the skills and competence to make students learn. The main statements of results, first, we have martial control. Teaching predicts learning with some activities or skills. That means that we can learn specific things with the specific activities that develop our skills. On the other hand, we have transparent activity. We use reflection as an instrument to achieve the learning outcomes. Finally, we can say that each teacher have a way to reach and different thoughts about learning and how practice their profession. With the time, we will find new strategies to reach that this will conserve to own way to our methods, depending of experience what we believe.